broken down into the following domain. So the exam has 5 domains of questions, and each domain has its own weighting, which determines how many questions in a domain that will show up. So 15 to 20% will be describe AI workloads and considerations. 20 to 25% will consist of describe fundamental principles of machine learning on Azure. 15 to 20% will consist of describe features of computer vision workloads on Azure. 15 to 20% will be describe features of natural language processing workloads on Azure. And 15 to 20% will be describe features of generative AI workloads on Azure. I want you to notice it says describe these domains. This is good because that tells you it's not going to be super hard. If you start seeing things that say beyond describe and identify, then you know it's going to be a bit harder. So where do you take this exam? Well, you can take it in person at a test center or online from the convenience of your own home. So there's 2 popular test centers, there's Certiport and there's Pearson VUE. You can also take it at a local test center if there are nearby locations. The term proctored means a supervisor or person that is monitoring you while you're taking the exam. If I had the option between in person or online, I would always choose the in person because it's a controlled environment and it's way less stressful. Online there are many things that can go wrong, but it's up to your personal preference and your situation. The passing grade here is 700 out of 1,000, so that's around 70%. I would say around because you could possibly fail with 70% because these things work on scaled scoring for response types. There's about 37 to 47 questions, and you can afford to get about 10 to 13 questions wrong. So some questions are worth more than 1 point. Some questions cannot be skipped. And the format of questions can be multiple choice, multiple answer, drag and drop, and hot area. There shouldn't be any case studies for foundational level exams. And there's no penalty for wrong questions. So for the duration, you get 1 hour. That means about 1 minute per question. The time for this exam is 60 minutes. Your seat time is 90 minutes. Seat time refers to the amount of time that you should take to allocate for that exam. So this includes time to review the instructions, read and accept the NDA, complete the exam, and provide feedback at the end. This certification is going to be valid forever and it does not expire. Microsoft fundamental certifications such as the AZ900 or MS900 do not expire as long as the technology is still available or relevant. So we'll proceed to the full exam guide now. Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and what we've pulled up here is the official exam outline on the Microsoft website. If you want to find this yourself, you just have to type in AI 900 Azure or Microsoft. You should be able to easily find it. The page looks like this. What I want you to do is scroll on down because we're looking for the AI 900 study guide, and from there we're going to scroll on down to the skills measured section. And you might want to bump up the text. Azure loves updating their courses with minor updates that don't generally affect the outcome of the study here, but it does get a lot of people worried because they always say, well, is your course out of date? So no, they're just making minor changes because they'll do this like 5 times a year. And so if there was a major revision, what would happen is they would change it so instead of being the AI 900, it'd be like the AI 901 or 902, similar to how the AI 102 was previously AI 100, but now it's the AI 102, so just watch out for those, and if it's a major revision, then yes, it would probably need a completely new course. So there aren't any major changes with the new update, other than the update for the generative AI workloads on Azure section, a couple of name changes, and a few things being removed. Everything else remains relatively the same, with very minor changes, so the concepts and such are still up to date. Overall, I think the exam is easier than before. So let's go through some of the topics and work our way through here. So describe AI workloads and considerations. So here we're just kind of describing the generalities of AI. So content moderation workloads involve filtering out inappropriate or harmful content from user-generated inputs, ensuring a safe and positive user experience. Personalization workloads analyze user behavior and preferences to tailor content, recommendations, or experiences to individual users. Computer vision workloads involve the analysis of images and videos to recognize patterns, objects, faces, and actions. Identify natural language processing, knowledge mining, document intelligence, and features of generative AI workloads. Note that these are all just concepts. You don't need to know how to use the services at a high level. Then you have the responsible AI section. So Microsoft has these 6 principles that they really want you to know, and they push it throughout all their AI services. So those are the 6 you'll need to know, and they're not that hard to learn. Moving on, we have described fundamental principles of machine learning on Azure. So here it's just describing regression, classification, clustering, and features of deep learning. We have a lot of practical experience with these in the course, so you will understand at the end what these are used for. Next, we have core machine learning concepts. We could identify features and labels in a data set, so that's the data labeling service. Describe how training validation data sets are used in machine learning, so we'll touch on that. Describe capabilities of automated machine learning. AutoML simplifies building and picking the best models, while data and compute services provide the power you need for training.
Next, we have core machine learning concepts. We could identify features and labels in a data set, so that's the data labeling service. Describe how training validation data sets are used in machine learning, so we'll touch on that. Describe capabilities of automated machine learning. AutoML simplifies building and picking the best models, while data and compute services provide the power you need for training. Next, we have core machine learning concepts. We could identify features and labels in a data set, so that's the data labeling service. Describe how training validation data sets are used in machine learning, so we'll touch on that. Describe capabilities of automated machine learning. AutoML simplifies building and picking the best models, while data and compute services provide the power you use for training. Next, we have core machine learning concepts. We could identify features and labels in a data set, so that's the data labeling service. Describe how training validation data sets are used in machine learning, so we'll touch on that. Describe capabilities of automated machine learning. AutoML simplifies building and picking the best models, while data and compute services provide the power you use for training. Next, we have core machine learning concepts. We could identify features and labels in a data
analysis, language modeling, citing weights. The attention layer looks at the sentence so far and decides how much influence each word should have on the next one. Calculating attention scores. Using these weights, a new vector for the next token is calculated, which includes an attention score. Multi-head attention does this several times, focusing on different aspects of the words. Choosing the most likely word, a neural network takes these vectors with attention scores and picks the word from the vocabulary that most likely comes next. Adding to the sequence